friendship is like something you just kind of choose. And I know probably there's a therapist, someone saying, no, you don't. There's a reason why you chose that one.
If your work culture allows, because I also know there could be like some really toxic work cultures, but I think it's very possible like to make friends from your deskie or like just someone who you've blended with in your project team. I don't think we should necessarily cut ourselves out of that just because it's work and you need to keep it professional.
Yeah. On my birthday last year, we all went around and everyone was saying something about me. And more than half of everyone, when they spoke about me, they said that I have influenced them to want to know more about Christ.
The mantra I live by when it comes to friends is go where the connection is natural, because I also don't feel like I'm Katia someone and it's friendship.
Every time when I was working 9 to 5, when I made friends with people, when I left the job, that was it.
Really?
A concentration of looking for sameness doesn't allow you to have friends that come to help you evolve in a different way.
Welcome to the Best Kept Secrets podcast, where we share our best kept secrets about life, love, God, and everything in between. Hi guys, welcome to another episode of the Best Kept Secrets podcast. This is episode 9 of the love series, and it might be our last episode of the season. I am yet to decide. Mungu akinipatia energy, I might do a solo episode as the last episode. If not, this is goodbye for now. But before we say goodbye, we are going to have a great episode ahead of us, and we can't talk about love without talking about friendship. So we've talked about love in marriage, in dating, self-love, godly love. We've talked about parental father wounds. We've literally talked about love in all aspects and in all forms, but we're yet to discuss love in friendship. So I have 2 guests with me. They are not strangers. They have been here before. Jemima. Nkirote. Sorry. I know her as Jemima, but people on the internet know her as Nkirote. Yeah. You've been here before. We talked about dating. Oh, interesting. Yeah. We talked about dating. No, we talked about being single.
And
dating, but mostly about like being single. Yeah. And Lydia. Lydia has been here 3 times.
Oh, yeah. This is my 3rd.
This is your 3rd. So she's been here. We've also talked about being single.
Yeah, I was like the very, very first time.
You did. The first one was about attachment styles.
Yes.
In my
God,
house.
That was the beginning. Like, wait,
yes,
wow.
In my house.
I'm an OG.
Yeah, she's an OG. She was here for season 1.
Yeah.
In my house when it was just me and 1 camera and 2 microphones. And we talked about attachment styles. And then you've been here with Jules. We talked about singlehood. And that was like 2-part. So basically this is your 4th episode. So
I live here. I basically live here.
She lives here, literally. So, and also thank you for believing in the vision and for being here from like when I was shooting in my house on my couch.
When you were shooting in the gym. I was there when you were shooting
in
the
gym.
shooting
in the gym?
No, honey. It's the song. Oh.
I don't know the song.
Right. That makes sense. Nobody knows that reference?
No.
When I was shooting in the gym, you know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
No.
We need to brush up on us.
Yeah, we do not know the reference. Sorry.
Okay. Yeah.
But yes, so thank you guys for being here. So love in friendships. First of all, before we even go further in the conversation, let's talk about how to make friends. How did you guys establish your friendships and your connections as adults, as children, as teenagers? How did you guys build the community you have? One of the questions I really get a lot on my socials is, how do I make friends? What should I be looking for? How did you get to have so many friends and good quality friendships?
Right.
Yeah.
Can
I go first?
So you've mentioned like us being children.
Yeah.
I think the first thing that came to mind was how things were easier back then. Like you'd just approach someone and be like I like
you want to be my friend.
Before you ask that. Like, you want to be my friend.
Yeah.
And then it's just instantaneous. I'd say in my adulthood, it has been part like natural and then part effort. So maybe the mantra I live by when it comes to friends is go where the connection is natural, because I also don't feel like I'm Katia someone and it's friendship. Like I don't want to be now always putting in effort, and I'm like, hey, can we hang out? Hey, how was this? Oh, congratulations on this. So I like when the initial connection just feels like it's both ways, but I'll stay where the values are aligned. So in the beginning, it's all like willy-nilly. You know, we could have like broad range of interests that we have, I guess, like collided on, like we agree upon. But if our values are not aligned, then I know that's not a sustainable foundation for friendship. So I'd say, like in a nutshell, that like go where the connection is natural, and then stay where the values are aligned. That's what has worked for me. Yeah.
Yeah. That makes sense. I guess when you're younger, as you're saying, it's easy because proximity is the number one reason why you're friends.
Yeah.
Because you live next door, or we go to
the
neighbors or whatever, you know, and then it's like, oh, you're in my class and I said hello. So like those ones are a lot easier, even kind of through unis, like you bump into someone and everyone then is scared because no one has friends. So everyone is friendlier and more open. But I guess as people get older, we all have like a stronger sense of stranger danger. So it's like we've maybe gone through like a friendship or breakup or two. So now it's like when you're meeting someone, you have all of this kind of intensity when you're trying to make friends. I think what you said resonates with me as well. I think friendship is like something you just kind of choose. And I know probably there's a therapist, someone saying, no, you don't. There's a reason why you chose that one. But for me, it feels like I'll be on someone's Instagram page and then just like by the way that they present themselves, the things they talk about, just the way their energy is or the way I'm perceiving their energy, I feel like, oh, that feels like she feels nice or she feels good or whatever. And then it would just be actually the way me and Sharon is like tier one friend for me. She's like one of my favorite people on earth. Yeah, I love her so much. And it was through Instagram by like she would just the way she was posting, the way you carried yourself, the air around you, the things that I saw, the things that I saw you represent yourself as. Like, oh, so that's who she wants to be seen as. I admire that and I liked that. Then just like little chatting here and there, and then we met at a few events and then it aligned like that. I think the other day I said that T, my other friend Terembe, and you are the friend who I was like, take it slow. I was always the person who jumped head first. That do not skip steps with friendship. That's another thing I would tell. Do not skip steps. Let it come gently. When you do skip steps, it doesn't mean that it's unsurvivable, but you can skip some ways of filtering. So then you just find yourself like super attached and it's like, oh, I don't know if this is what I wanted. So I would say what she said, just let it be natural. And if you do feel like you want to hang around with someone or say it, the way you're saying about katiaing, it's only bad if it's one-sided.
Yes, exactly.
Yes, but if both of you are katiaing each other, but someone has to start. Someone has to be the one. Were you the one? I think you did katia me first. Yes, when you asked me to go to shoot with you.
Oh, to do the Gani thing.
Yeah. You see, someone has to be the first one. And so don't just be there waiting to see someone. No, you just ask. And if they say yes and they're open, then you see if they're going to reciprocate. Instagram is number 1. 2, when you go out and other friends have friends, feel free to like talk to people and be more open. Gym is where I met Bree. So any situation can be somewhere you make friends. Yeah, just
even
be open.
Work, I think that's like a thing we have this saying for like don't mix colleagues and family or like don't make friends at the workplace. But if you really think about it, we spend so much time of our lives. How would you not like make friends? I think if your work culture allows, because I also know there could be like some really toxic work cultures, but I think it's very possible like to make friends from your deskie or like just someone who you've blended with in your project team. I don't think we should necessarily cut ourselves out of that just because it's work and you need to keep it professional.
For me though, every time, because by the way, I work 9 to 5. You know, when you're saying work, I'm like, people work with others.
Corporate.
I mean, technically, we're colleagues.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you see now, I don't see you every day.
Yeah, but we work in the same industry. Together, so we're colleagues.
Yeah.
Wow, so all of these people are out here are my colleagues.
Yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Everyone
I've got plenty
of
colleagues.
About it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I wouldn't, I guess, think about it that way. But every time when I was working 9 to 5, when I made friends with people, when I left the job, that was it.
Really?
I just felt like it's like a lot of times it's like stages of life. Okay. And the people who we were rhyming with when I was in that job, in that stage, in that version, just doesn't really translate.
I can see that happening.
Yeah, that makes sense. So I have 9 friends, 10 friends.
Girl.
10. I have 3 groups. Okay. I have a group from high school. So I met them in high school. Day 1 of high school, I met them, loved them. We've somehow, over the years, even with proximity removed, we've stayed friends. Which, but I think what people also don't know is that there are some seasons we were not as close. We just kind of found our way back to each other. So after high school, we all went to different unis. And so we weren't seeing each other as often, and the friendship wasn't as strong. Like one of my friends was in Queer, I was in Disa, so I wasn't seeing her as much, but we still made effort to like hang out, party, because that's what we used to do, party together, whatever, but we're just not as close as we were in high school because she's my roommate in high school. I see you every day. So I have those. I have my uni friends, another group of 3 that I met in uni. One of them I knew from high school already, so I met those ones in uni. Again, very natural connections. The one who I knew from high school kind of introduced me to the other 2 that she had already met. So she's like our glue that like
the friend of friends
brought us together. Yeah, friends of friends who brought us together, and we have now our own group friendship and separate friendships. And again, even with them, outside of uni, because we've all graduated, we've made effort to stay friends. We've made effort to be in each other's lives. And a lot of like friendship requires effort, like the categorizing, like it requires you to look for the person, make time, intentional time to hang out with the person, get to know what's happening in their lives. That's how we've been able to stand the test of time, because I'm mentioning this because I get asked a lot how to maintain friendships long term.
Yeah.
And by the grace of God, we've evolved together. We've not evolved separately. Because I think that's what happens, especially with friends you met when you were children. Literally, we've evolved together over the years. And even the versions we have become, we are accepting of who everyone has become. So obviously, when they all met me, I wasn't even Christian. Like I was doing my thing. So everyone that met me literally when I was 13 in high school is very accepting of who I am today, even though they didn't meet me like that. And for them, it's even beautiful for them to see it and witness it. And they're just like, they've loved watching me bloom. And same thing, like now one of us from high school, she's married, she has a baby. So obviously, at the end of the day, we always still see 13-year-old her when we see her. But it's just like we've embraced the version of who she is and who she's evolved to be. And I think that's how friendships stand the test of time. And unfortunately, sometimes you evolve away. But we've, by the grace of God, managed to evolve together. And then I have my adult friends like Lydia, who I met when I was already an adult with my brain had developed fully. Thank God. So I was a bit more present in my choosing of you guys because I knew what am I looking for in a friend. And the other ones like were a bit more like superficial, like, oh, we just have the same fashion sense.
You're not thinking about,
oh, we just like the same kind of boys. Like literally, like, it's just great conversation. But now when I made my friends in adulthood, I was more aware of, I really like this person's personality, their values, the way they present themselves, and I would want to pursue a friendship with this. So with some of them, I'm done that's pursued. Like with you, I pursued. With others, I was pursued. Literally, one of my friends, and I like what you said about the workplace, because one of my friends, I met her at work and we were both new. We had both joined at the same time and we actually just connected because our outfits were both cute.
Nice.
Literally, I liked her outfits, she liked my outfit, and we just used to compliment each other. Oh, I love your shoes, girl, and then one day, and we used to sit next to each other, but we wouldn't really talk much. So one day she just asked me like, oh, do you want to have like lunch together? And I was like,
hold up.
You're doing a bit much, but I was like, actually, let's do it. Let me go see if we actually align, and outside of us liking fashion, if there's actually something, and there was something.
Yeah.
And then again, we've been able to stand the test of us going, because we both left that work. Because we put in effort.
Yeah.
That's it. We've put in effort. We both left the company. We're both doing different things, but like we found a way to still be present in each other's lives. But you're right in terms of it was reciprocated.
Definitely.
Yes.
The thirst was mutual.
Yes.
That's
The
most
effort.
important
Yeah.
thing.
So she tells people she pursued me, and she did. And then
You
the
allowed
others,
to be pursued.
I accepted to be pursued.
Yeah.
And the other two, they pursued me. Actually, you're the only person I've pursued.
Wow,
I
guys.
I
you
hope
should
you.
feel special.
I am the
Like-
prize. Listen. But to be
Yeah.
honest, even with Pursue, it's like you asked
Yeah.
me to do that shoot, and then
Yeah.
that's it. I
It
don't
was
remember
just like it
anything
flowed,
else.
yeah.
Like as far as like it being just
Yeah.
like, it's just like she asked me out the first time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can I make a point about the values thing, right? As I've gotten older, I have had a broader interpretation of what that means, because I found that a concentration of looking for sameness doesn't allow you to have friends that come to help you evolve in a different way. Because if everyone around you is kind of almost like a match of exactly who you are and your values identically, basically you're trying to just love yourself exactly the way that you look.
Yeah.
But when I have friends who are different from me, they see things differently. One, it allows me to expand my heart to be able to occupy and to love people who are nothing like me. And it also teaches me and allows me to almost to be like in different worlds, but still me, because like I go through those different worlds with them, So I think the sameness is good, and having the right, the same values. You can't have somebody who's like, this person would, I don't know, hurt children. There's those are crazy. But now I'm a bit more flexible. Even if I see someone is like, okay, that's not like me, I don't see it as a red flag anymore. I see it more like curious, like what's the opportunity for growth here for me? Like what can this teach me, And I think when I see people like that, I end up kind of loving their richness, but before I used to find difference as a threat. But not anymore.
And
Let me. Can I ask a question?
Sure.
Though? Are you open to it just in terms of like life connections and acquaintances, or even like inner circle?
Even in a circle.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, even in a circle, because also people change. Okay. So if I say that, okay, if you don't have these, and like maybe it's like specific lifestyle kind of values, if you evolve outside of that, the friendship definitely struggles. Like we're not going to be able to evolve. So my flexibility is also so that I have the capacity to walk journeys with people when they're kind of evolving differently from who they were, whereas before it was like a shift like that. I'm like, oh no, red flag. But it's expanded my heart. Actually me and Sharon always get questions like that because she's is that staunch Christian the right word? No.
I don't know if it's staunch, but I love Jesus.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hallelujah.
So do you.
I do, but it's not in the same way. And I'm a bit more like I'm curious and about like deconstructing religion to see where the spirituality really lies and all of that. And her being deeply religious is like, okay, where does that go? But I end up learning so much. Like I end up, actually when I have questions, sometimes I go to her and I'm just like, okay, Sharon, what about this? And what about this? But if now she said that if anybody is not like this, then we probably wouldn't be able to be friends, So it's not always that a difference in like values in that way is a problem. Sometimes it's an opportunity for growth, because if we keep going like this, because you're definitely going to keep loving on Jesus. And if I'm like deconstructing religion and understanding like, okay, what's true, what's not, if we keep going further, are we going to keep trying to find a center, or is it going to be like, I'm not doing this, I would hope that there's room to keep it together.
I love that you brought that up because that's actually something that I really wanted to speak about because for believers, we are taught to not be friends with unbelievers. Am I right?
Yeah. Dependent on the circle.
Dependent on the church, dependent on your beliefs, you know, but it's like push, like if two cannot agree, they can't work together and all of that. But what I have seen in my life, and I cannot contest the Bible is the Bible, it's final. What I have seen in my life is that out of all these friends that I'm talking about, only one of them is more staunch than I am. So everyone else, let me give you a practical example. On my birthday last year, we all went around and everyone was saying something about me. And more than half of everyone, when they spoke about me, they said that I have influenced them to want to know more about Christ. I don't want to cry because that's like what really matters to me. Because I keep telling God, I don't want to influence people on Instagram only, strangers I've never met, and my friends miss out on you.
Yeah.
So let me just take a moment because this is like very important to me. So like Lydia is saying, imagine if I just closed them out and I said, okay, you guys are heathens, go away. I don't want Jezebels. I don't want to be friends with you. What if I've been placed in their lives to be able to answer those questions, you know, for them to be able to come with me, because they won't go to a pastor. So they come to me with their curiosity. They come to me with, okay, the Bible says this, but what about this? You know what I mean? I know their friends like who go to church because I've influenced them to go to church. We go to church together. We do Bible study together. They are learning more about Christ because I am their friend, you know?
True.
And I look at it as like, it's very purposeful for me and I don't push it on anyone.
Yeah.
I've never pushed it. Actually, like, I think you can testify. I've never pushed it on any of my friends that you have to believe the same thing I believe. I just believe. I just live my life and I create a safe space for them to feel like they can come to me and say something and ask me something. So it's been so beautiful for even me to watch their own personal relationships with God bloom and thrive, because I have seen them when they knew nothing, but they had questions and they had curiosity and they had interest. And now even if I'm not there, they'll go to church without me. Like, it's not me calling them for, where are you, girl? Let's go. They'll go without me. They'll read the Bible without me. They'll watch sermons without me. They'll do all of that without me. And the friend of mine that I'm saying is more staunch than I am, she held my hand when I was a new believer. Even before I was a believer, she's the one who held my hand and taught me. She's the one who answered those questions for me. So even for her, it's great for her to see the impact that I'm having on other people, because she's like, you used to be that person for me. You know, you used to come to me with questions and curiosity, and I was praying for you and I was covering you and I was doing all of these things. And it's so nice to see that now your other friends are being impacted by it. So me, I would say just like, you don't know the impact you're making on someone's life. And I wouldn't say close it off completely. Definitely not.
And stick to your common ground, right? So for example, she might be more staunch, but there's many ways that I've experienced God for myself, and not necessarily in the way that she would articulate her own experiences. So we can always talk about like how I felt God and my walk with God, whatever. And we can stick there, you know, and because there's always differences in friendships, by the way. There's always differences. So stick.
Whether you're Christians or not Christians.
Exactly. Stick where there's like common ground. But it is easier. It is easier if everyone is exactly like you. They have the same beliefs or whatever. But I think there's a richness that comes with not having that identical.
I do think there's a part of us that we want friendship to be self-serving. We want it to serve you.
Right.
Like, what does this person bring to my life? What do they bring to the table? And all of these things. I see friendship as service to other people as well. Like, yes, I do get something out of this friendship, but what can I do to be of service to you? How can I love you better? How can I support you? How can I be there for you? And maybe this is just like my ingrained giver, firstborn daughter stuff coming out. I don't know. But my instinct is not always what can I get from this person, but my instinct is, especially if I love you, how can I be of service to you?
And that's very apparent in the way that you do love in friendships.
Yeah.
For sure. You're so present.
Don't make me cry.
Can I share a different perspective? Because I feel like I'm on the other side of the spectrum, and this is purely based on my experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
I think in uni, like there was the group that you were part of and like were really close. And then as life continued, we started growing apart. Now we're still friends. We're still in each other's lives. We still have like the hangouts, checking on each other. But I think my experiences of friendship in adulthood made me do that repositioning or reassessing of, okay, now who's in inner circle, who's in outer circle, and then who's just like an acquaintance.
Yeah.
For me, the struggle was, as the Christian in the group, I just felt like I kept sticking out. And like when we have conversations, like I'm struggling with the just going with the flow, because I'm like, but the Bible says this, and there was, there was just a cognitive dissonance. So what ended up happening,
Because there was too much difference.
it was very different. For me, what I have seen is just what you've said. Like, not all my friends are going to be the same as me, and that would make for a very boring life.
Right?
Very boring. Yeah. It's like if you and your romantic partner are like, same, apples to apples, there's no flavor in life. But at the same time, when I think about like, and this, I guess this also maybe specifically just applies to Christians. When you think about like the burden of purpose, when you think about things like someone to, how we use those terms for go to war, like praying and all, When I think about those things, I'm not going to reach out to my friend who has not been to church for a whole year. That's just the truth of the matter. I'm going to lean more towards the people who have the same experiences spiritually. And that's now the thing that kind of just naturally did the sifting. It's like,
for you,
it's like if I want someone to pray for me, if I want someone to get this thing that I'm going through, I love all of you, but there's just one person who gets that. And because for me now Christianity has become the lens that I see everything through, then it also gets harder to now just have conversations without that lens. So for me, it was the opposite. It's like, and I've still had like a lot of those comments, like, you've really inspired me to get to know Jesus for myself. But sometimes, or rather a lot of times, those are not the people I now classify as my really close friends. And I think that's also okay. Like, just, I guess you just really need to know who you are and like what you've been called to. Because I feel like for you, that's like a great showing of what God has called you to do within like this space of Christianity with your friendships. I think it perfectly aligns. And I guess like I'm sharing this perspective so that if there's someone who that maybe wasn't their shared experience, they can be like, it's okay that we fizzled out based on these differences.
It's true.
Yeah.
Even
That's
therapy,
valid,
even motherhood, even like like now people who are obsessed with running, right? Nobody can talk around them. Like when something becomes the way, like your life, it can sift people out because you don't get this. And I have sometimes problems if I'm talking to someone and I say something pertaining, I don't know, like, trauma, and somebody isn't well versed. I'm like, damn. You know what I mean? So it's like it's because this is the way that I see. Like this is something I believe to be true and factual,
like
and a big part of me, you know?
Yeah.
So without even being able to table that, like what could it be? And I can totally empathize with that. It's also been a challenge for me to, I don't know, maybe things aren't always about trauma. I don't know.
No, for real, like I appreciate that perspective as well, because I've always said that not all of your friends can meet all of your needs.
Yeah.
So there are different friends who meet different needs, even your partner, right? So for me, I know which friend I go to when I want to fast and pray about something. When I want to go to war spiritually, I know who to go to. I know who to go to when I'm having a hard time and she understands my traumas and my history and my whatever. That's Lydia. in case you would have guessed right. In case you were wondering, I know who to go to when I just want to have a good time, lighthearted, just laugh. I'm feeling down. I just want to have a good laugh, have a good time. You know what I mean? So different friends meet different needs. But I think the mistake we make is that we go into friendships hoping this person meets all of your
them.
needs.
Yeah.
They are the friend I run with, I do therapy with, they fast and pray with me. They also me understand my fashion. We can match. We'll also do brunch. Then we'll also go swimming. And then after that, we'll do, you know what I mean? And then maybe we also have unfair expectations on friends. And when they don't meet all of your needs, you're like, okay, you're not a good friend. Bye. You know what I mean? So I like the sifting, and I like even the classification to some degree as well.
Yeah.
And Lydia, I think you should talk about the whole tier thing as well.
Oh, yeah, I said tier 1.
Yeah, you can talk about the tier thing, but this is biblical as well, because Christ did the same thing. Out of the 12 disciples he had an inner 3, and those 3 are the ones that he would go to pray with, and he would leave the rest behind. So the rest would not be so far. They are just somewhere uko nyuma, but he would say, Peter, John, James, let's go. And then they would go, the 3 of them, and pray. And then he would also remove himself out of those 3 and go out like beyond that by himself to pray. So, and I think it's a very good example of how we can do the friendship thing, where you know what need these ones serve and what I do in their lives, and then these ones are my core people who I can trust my life with, and then above that it's me and God. Above that I remove myself, and me and God we go and deal with it.
Before I say about the tiers, can I ask a question? Is it common for, like, in Christian groups to have like mixed friends, like people who are not so Christian?
Some
depends
on
the person. But mostly it's not preached to us to have friends that are unbelievers.
Because I heard Zia, Mike Mushiri, what he was saying, when he did kind of get out and started having these questions and whatever, he lost his entire community because there's no room for you if you're not walking this way with us, you know?
Yeah, I don't think that's the example of Christ, to be honest.
Okay.
Because we usually say Christianity is a religion of love. Like that is the fundamental thing. We've been called to love. So, like, I have atheist friends. And
stop.
Yeah, let me not say friends. One very particular friend. He doesn't live here, but every single time he visits, we meet, and he usually asks me those questions, and I ask him questions. And one of the things he said, I think like two like hangouts ago, was, I appreciate this friendship because you've never tried to preach or like change my beliefs. And I think I'm not going to say that should be the template of all friendships. I definitely think that there could be friendships where you've been led to speak to them, and there are others where it's like the thing you were saying, like they will just, it's show and tell, like they will know from how I live my life. You know, that's how you influence them. So for like that particular experience you've talked about, I wish the Christian friends would have been a bit more curious. And it's not really like, I'm curious so that I can understand, so that I can prove you wrong, so that you can come back. But even like holding space for what is this person going through. Because Christianity is, like, religion is very personal. Like, someone cannot, it's not a religion for I can pass down to my children, or like I can believe for my friend and then they will get saved. No, it has to be a very personal thing. So allow people their time to ask the questions, and if they want to move away, it's also a personal choice. Like we have not been given the burden to get, like, how do I put it? That verse that talks about how one sowed, one watered, but God is the one that brings So it's like, I cannot attribute your salvation to me. It'll never be that. So
we don't save anyone. Jesus is the one that
exactly.
saves.
So I think it's okay to have people in your life who are not Christians as a non-Christian. Maybe now the difference in conversation is like influence, and that's a whole other conversation because, like, you know, values now, like there's misalignment there. But to be like, I'm dropping you because you have stopped being a Christian, it feels very anti-Christ. Like it just
I'm pretty
feels
sure he said this
hateful.
publicly, right? I think he said it on Man Talk.
I didn't watch that episode, but
I think he did. And I'll double check. If not, definitely don't put this out for sure. But I'm pretty sure he said that.
But it's believable because we've
heard
those stories.
And so it's like, you know, it's like you lose your community if you're curious. So, okay, let me tell you guys about the tears. And by the way, when I was giving the example of like when you said like this is the lens that you see through life, that was a comparison when I said therapy and maybe motherhood and whatever, not necessarily in terms of values, because I know this is a Christian podcast. I wasn't trying to put therapy and God at the same place, but I was just articulating the lens in which you see the world. Anyway, so I came up with these tears because I had too many friends. I gotta tell y'all.
She had 20?
Miss Binches.
Listen,
that's the reason.
And here's the thing, I love them all, right? But as I've gotten older, I've realized there's no way I can pour so much and enough and well to all of them. And I've also realized that not everyone is pouring that much into me in the first place.
True.
So then it's kind of come to this natural, grief did this for me. It's like, these are the ones who are going to war. Okay, a different war. But,
Still a war.
Still a war. These are the ones who are going, like, you know, and actually naturally, who did I want to immediately know that my cousin had died? Like, you know, that initial, this is who I believe is part of my army. So when I realized that, it kind of just flowed itself. Tier ones know who they are, but then I don't tell everyone. I was like, oh, you tier 2, tier 3. No, I don't do that, you know? But it's like this. And almost, I actually feel like it's kind of both ways. So there's no one who is like, wow, you know, always on my case, calling me 24/7. And they're like, see you over there. No. I feel like it feels like a mutual. And even my people who are like I'm closest with, they're also closest to me. So it's just felt like it's just been almost like the effort has decided, you know? And I think that's a good way to do it. But those aren't acquaintances. Then acquaintances is like all of these other people, you know? But my friends are just like in that way of like understanding. Some other friends are like furniture, right? Like Brie, we've been friends since we were 13, Hannah 12. You're going nowhere. Like, you know, your family and now you're stuck in this house, you know? But it's been effort that has naturally decided where everyone falls. And I like that. Now I know where to put so much of my effort. Me and Sharon haven't talked in 2 weeks. That's crazy. Like now on text. We have talked on Instagram lots, but
not on text. Yeah, today when I was looking for because I was checking your live location.
She has my live location.
And she's always tier 1. I wanted to see how far she is. I had to scroll down to find her. I was like...
And she's usually like 2, 3.
Yeah, like I don't have to scroll down to find her. But I like that you've shared that because you've shared a bit about the grief, because I want us to talk about the importance of even having friends. Like why should we have friends? Why should we make the effort to make friends and cultivate healthy relationships and with our community and our friends?
Goodness. Community is everything. It's everything. Human beings were wired for connection. So, of course, you have your family. But first of all, families can have so much. There's a lot going on in families. And the older you get, you're all giggling.
Not in the head.
Yeah, I know. But so as to have people outside of that who love you by choice, by this, I have chosen you of all the people in the world, you thought, it's lit. It's lit. You know, it makes you learn to love in a more intentional way, because family is there whether or not you love them. Like, I mean, it is what it is, mom. Here we are. You know? But with friendships, it teaches you this like way of creating and building and nurturing friendships. Because, for example, in grief, everyone in my family was falling apart. So we all needed people outside the family to hold us together. And that happens. Actually, that happens all the time, that your family is not the people who you can go to because they're also feeling the pain that you're feeling. So then the friends end up being able to support you. Friends are the reason why you venture into different things. Like they take you into their world. You end up even being friends sometimes with like their family, that you go there and, you know, like your furniture. It expands your world beyond like the family that you are given, and it brings so much value to your growth, to your life. It adds color. Friendship is so important. Oh my God.
My thoughts were exactly the same. Like how we say, like, we are the sum total of our life's encounters, and the people you allow to influence you are a big part of that.
Yeah.
So I think, like what she said about connection, a place of belonging, those are all very important. And then there's just like the practical side of friendships. Like if I even think about, like, I want to step out in a business venture, who are the first people I'll ask for advice? Probably my friends. There's for you to grow as a person, you cannot grow in isolation. Whether that is, you think about it from a business or corporate perspective, whether it's emotional health, even like running, you're inspiring each other, physical health. So I just feel like there's also just that thing for, we need others. We need people to show us our blind sides. We need people to challenge us, to call us out, to hold us accountable. It's just you can't just do anything in life alone. You need your community to move with you. I think the godly perspective would also be, your friends are like your refining environment. Like, they give you opportunities to learn how to forgive, to be able to show love, to be able to serve, which is something you were talking about. Like, how are you going to practice your Christianity if it's not with your family and your loved ones? Like, that's when it's really, like, rubber meets the road. You know how we say, if you're not in a relationship, you might think, oh, I'm so healed. And then you enter a relationship and then the triggers come and it's like, I might
friends
need
can do that.
a few more therapy sessions. I think it's the same thing with friends. You might think you're such a great person because you don't have people around you. But once you're within that environment of you have to show up, you have to check in, you have to forgive because people are flawed. When, like, that gives you a practical training ground to be able to actually grow as a person. So I'd say it's like, I don't see life without friends. Like people who say, I'm self-made, I don't have anyone, and like, I'm okay with that. I'm like, really? Or is that like a trauma response?
I feel like you don't have a choice because you have no one. Like, so you have to make it be like, I don't have I'm good, but it's because you don't have anyone to. What's the last point you just made? I wanted to comment on.
Training ground.
I think it was about...
Rewind the clips.
I think it was about... Yeah, but I totally agree with what you're saying as far as like this, that's what I wanted to say. But that's also why people won't stay in friendships.
Yeah.
Because you are calling me out all of the time. You are challenging me.
Yeah.
We both said that we'll start doing this, and then now you're over there, you've gone and I haven't. There are these constant reflectors and reminders of ourselves, sometimes not in the best ways. I said I would be a different person, but I'm still doing this. It can be
still
too I'm seeing myself too much. I don't like this. So I can see why it's also challenging. And because they're marketed, especially female friendships, to be like, everything's so sweet. We don't want any challenges. We don't want any hiccups. We don't want anything. So that could also be a reason why people don't want to be in friendships like that.
Yeah, I agree. Everything times two. Add me there. For me, I feel like the importance of friendship community. There's a verse that in Ecclesiastes that says, 2 are better than 1 because they have good return. Pity anyone that falls and has no one to help them up. And I also love the example of in Exodus, Moses when he was basically the context was there was a war happening between the Israelites and somebody else, and God had told them, I don't know, but Moses was praying, and as long as his hands were up praying, the Israelites were winning.
Yeah.
But obviously you get tired being like this, like the entire day, and there's a war happening. And so what happened is that Aaron and
I don't know the other.
Some guy that starts with a J literally came and helped hold his hands up because he was getting tired.
Yeah.
So every time he'd feel tired, they'd come and hold him up so that he can continue to have his hands up and pray. And I think for me, like, the community is really important in helping you up, holding you up, especially through the tough times. I can't imagine all the tough things I have been through in my life and doing it alone and doing it in isolation. And I think it's a big tactic of the enemy to make all of us think that we are self-sufficient and I don't need nobody. We need people. We need community.
People need us.
And people need us. And I think even for me, like, like being there with you through grief, like really shifted our friendship for me in my mind, because I have supported my friends through things, but I don't know if I've in close proximity supported someone through grief. And I haven't been through grief myself. So it was just like having to learn, what do I say? What can I say? What can't I say? And like, how do I support her? How do I not? Like actually like giving of myself in a way I've never had to give of myself. And even for me, when I have been through tough times, it's just good to know that I have people I can count on. I can have, when I fall down, I have people who are going to be there to help me up and hold my hands up so I can continue fighting this fight of life, literally, because it's the war. This war. Yeah. Do you guys have anything to add on that, or you're good?
No, that's a big part of why. And it's sometimes people... It sounds like you're saying I want to be friends because I'll need you some other time. But no, life is challenging, as it were, and you're gonna need people to hold you when things are going there. And probably part of the reason why people are able to even regulate emotionally and manage to get through some of the worst pains is community, because life can actually take you down a really dark road because you don't have anyone propping you up. So definitely agree.
I agree. I like that what you guys were saying earlier, how you see yourself. Like friendship is kind of a mirror where you see yourself and you see your stuff. So one of the questions I had was, how do you feel like your trauma has shown up in friendships? And how do you feel like it has limited you or empowered you to be a better friend? Or what have you learned in the process of having adult friendships? Why is there?
I have
all of a sudden you're quiet.
Yeah, I have struggled with friendships. So growing up, I took on a caregiving role for a close family member, and so I feel that inadvertently put me in the strong friend category. Ooh. So I was very akin to checking in on people, planning the birthdays, and also like in a particular group, it was almost like I was the one who was like, I know what's happening in everyone's lives, and I'll be like, okay, this person is going through this, let's do this. Okay, this person is going through this milestone, let's celebrate. And then I got tired. Yeah, I was like, I've had enough. We need to change things. Yeah. But like it's a vicious cycle, I would say, because when you fall into the grouping of being a strong friend, it's like you're strong because that's how you've learned to show up for people. You're always the one who's assessing their needs and responding to those needs. And then you get tired because now you want people to check in on you, but then you don't know how to open up. And so you fall back into that same cycle. So it was like I wanted it, but I didn't know how to now open up. One of the things that completely shifted my perspective, because to be very honest, I used to feel like I can bear the burdens of other people, but I feel like when I speak about what I want, I'm being needy or I'm being weak, it's just like it's not the thing. So let me just be strong and figure it out. And I remember watching one of these talks by Brené Brown, and she was talking about how if you judge your vulnerability as a weakness, then subconsciously you also judge the vulnerability of others as a weakness. Yeah. So I used to say, oh no, it's okay for other people to ask me for help, but me, I won't ask them for help because for me, I feel like it's an issue. And for me, when I sat with that, it was like, okay, so probably deep down, I also feel like they are being needy, they are being weak, and I didn't like that version. And so I really started questioning, like, why is it so hard for me to open up to my friends? Like, I really hated we had gotten to this place where there was always the catch up. Like, you know how when you go through something really tough and then you tell your friends after the fact, it's like, oh yeah, guys, like, the past 3 months have been rough, but I'm good now. Yeah. I always used to hate that dynamic. Like, why can't I tell you as I'm going through it? Why can't I pick up my phone and be like, today I've had a really bad day? Like, I don't know, my boss did something, or like this relationship is helter-skelter. Like I really hated that. But there's no, like with all personal development, you just have to go through it to grow. Like you can't be like, I'll read the books, I'll pray about it, and then you don't do anything. So I actually had to start doing that. Like actually opening up and telling people, hey, I'm not happy with how things are going right now for my career, or today has been a really bad day. Even just like my recent like health issues this year, that was another level of vulnerability, like allowing my friends to come and see me in the hospital, for them to see me like in a crisis of faith. There was a point I was just like, mambo za Mungu, mimi musiniambie for now. And like actually allowing my friends to come and pray over me. So like, it was like I had fallen into that cycle of strong friend, but I had to learn how to come out of it. Like I had to just be like, if you want people to shop for you, well, they shop for you when you tell them to shop for you. And I think that's the other thing about friendships, which is almost similar to relationships. You can't always expect that people will know what you need if you haven't voiced it. Even your closest of friends can miss out on what you need in a particular season. If you think about how multifaceted people are, and like there's just a lot going on. Like I could genuinely have the best intentions for you, but today was like a really bad day at work, and then I missed like an anniversary celebration for you. So I also learned, because my friends have already quote unquote proven themselves over the years, then I can trust that in that moment they let me down, it wasn't because they wanted to like let me down. So I can actually open up and be like, hey, I actually really needed you today, or like this is what I'd like for you to do for me in this season. And then that now allows them to be like, oh, okay, I'm more than happy to show up for you. And then you just proceed. But the opposite would be, no, I'm going to keep quiet. I'm going to be resentful. Like this person forgot. And it's like, we're all human. We're all dealing with so many things. So like, I think it's also just, you need to advocate for yourself in friendships as well. And that's something that I learned. I can't just say, I want my friends to check in on me, but I don't give them room to check in on me. I don't tell them like, this is what I need. Even like this time I was sick, I remember calling some of my friends and being like, I'm so disappointed you have not come to see me yet. And it wasn't a big deal. I just be like, I'm so sorry, I'm coming tomorrow. They come tomorrow and now we move on, But the opposite of that would be now it's pent up, I've not spoken about it, and then maybe quietly I now start disassociating from this friend. And then it's just like, it's like a form of ghosting in friendships that you don't to rock the boat. But I think there's a healthiness to like just being not open. Chaos, but like being open and telling people like, hey, I didn't like it when you did this. That's actually something I've really had to learn. And I feel like my friendships have been better for it. That when we confront things head on, we're actually able to move forward. The opposite of that has also been, I've confronted some things and I've lost friends, but it also showed me that they didn't care enough to mend what was the issue. So that has been my experience like through high school, uni, and now. And hallelujah, I am no longer the strong friend. And I'm so happy.
You've been set free.
So I've been set free from the shackles.
That makes so much sense to me in so many ways. I guess you just articulate differently, but first things actually what I wanted to say is, why do I keep forgetting things? When you're talking, I'm like, oh, same. I've got a point. I've got a point. I guess for me, it's been that way, but in different ways. So, one, I can open up. I've always been a talker. Part of how I express myself is talking. I know it's a surprise, but yeah, it is. So that has been easy. But there's that part. I am not well. And then there's the sitting and watching you come to my house, spending your money, spending your time to come and care for me because I am unable to take care of myself. That's a different beast. That is a different beast because if your identity from a young age has been your value is in doing, your value is being smart, in the one who's figured it out. So in that moment, what I feel like is I am of no value. And so what comes in is the fear that this person is also going to know that you have no value, the relationship is going to break up, and the world is going to end, you know? So for me, it was not just the expressing. I had to now start opening up to just sit and be allowed. Yeah. I have found that I am still struggling with that because, again, friends call you out. Yep. One of my friends told me that she feels like I don't let her be there for me in the way that she would want. And like sometimes she feels that means that when I'm going through something, she's not sure what I need. So then it's like she's got to kind of experiment in like moments when I'm in need because I am not consistent in like expressing and giving room for someone to actually be there for me. I thought I had changed with grief, but what I realized is that I had given myself permission because everyone understands that grief is bad. So then I won't be weak. Yeah, because now we all agree that this is bad enough. So if I am falling apart, it's like, it's fine.
Yeah,
it's okay.
It's normal.
But then instantly kind of got back. And I think even after like a month or two, I started to feel like uncomfortable. Like, I should have been moved on. I shouldn't need them as much. Yeah. So I'm definitely still struggling with that. But I'm working on it. And I don't, that's the first one. The second one, I don't know if this is a trauma response per se, but all my close friends are goers. I do not have super close knit friends who are like, what are we doing today?
Let's go with the flow.
Like, who's coming? I'm just a girl. To who? You're just a girl to who? Like, we're all here as girls. So who's going to take it?
Yeah.
You know, like all of my friends are go. They are like, I have this goal. I want to do this. They are go-getters. They are just like locked in. And that is the energy I like being. I don't care if it's a trauma response. These are my chosen traumaries, and I will stick beside them. So it's like there's just a kind of character that it would just be difficult to be friends with. And that's a challenge that I won't accept. Yeah, because I've accepted other challenges, but this one, I don't want to change this. Yeah.
And you're allowed to not change
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I have other admirable qualities.
Yeah.
Not everyday change.
I think for me, I suffer the same disease as you. And you a bit, but you have really improved.
Thank you.
You have. And yes, grief has helped you, but I think you've also kept it. You've also kept the ability to ask, to lean in, and maybe it's not where you want it to be, but you're not where you used to be either. So congratulations.
Growth.
Maybe I am still in the ghettohood of I don't allow people to see me like in vulnerability. Like when I feel like this is a lot. Like, let me just like, I am the kind, like you were saying, I do my thing by myself, I struggle by myself, and then I come and I update you up. So I was going through it, but now I'm on the other side, and let me tell you, girl, it was a lot, you know, and my friends, like some of my friends have told me, like, you know, they wish I could let them in a bit more and like tell them when I'm actually going through it and not when I'm after it, and after I've already recovered from it, and I am working on it in therapy. My therapist is trying to help me. But I don't know how to ask for help. I don't know how to be vulnerable. I mean, to some extent, but not really. And there's a nakedness that I don't like to show fully. Like there's some of it I just want to go deal with it by myself. And what that brings up is resentment because I'm a giver. So now it starts to feel like everyone takes, and no one gives me anything, you know? So I'm trying to rely more, to speak up more when I'm in the mud and not when I'm out of the mud. And I think one of the beauties of friendship, and I don't want us to only say that friendship is only for like when things are tough, because that's what's been really coming up. But maybe even this is let me just say, it's a good example. I have to say it. Job, when he was going through the things he was going through, his friends, yes, they were a bit weird, but his friends, what I think they did right is that they were present. So initially the intention was good. The intention was, our friend is going through something, let's go help him.
Yeah.
Let's go show up. Let's go be present. And they did show up. And in the beginning, the first few chapters, they sat with him. And they sat with him for days when he was just quiet, just like grieving. They grieved with him. They tore their clothes as well. They put on the ash. They did the sackcloth. Like they grieved with him. There's a beauty of just letting people in, and even if they are not saying the right thing or doing the right thing, just presence, just be there. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to do anything. And for those of us who have that disease, then maybe just let them show up.
Yeah.
Like, just let them come, just sit in your house or sit somewhere together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe it's the talking you don't want to talk. Maybe it's the whatever you don't want to do. But you have to let people in if you want to have like community.
Yeah. With you, what I've learned is like, if you're going through something difficult, because she won't say, and we're going to have to figure it out. So in that season, my job is to just pursue and experiment, right? So it's just like, I'm going to come, you're not coming to the walk, I'm coming to your house. Like that season is for me to kind of do my best to carry her. And it's like, okay, it's like, is this working? No, let's adjust. You know what I mean? And that season is not about you, sister, okay? It's about her. So it's like, whatever it is that she needs, I'll just try and like poke and lean and whatever. As you practice to let people, I think is also good for your friends to know you in that way and know that, okay, this is something that she struggles with, and try and study what are the ways that you can reach her even when she's not putting her hand up, because in that season she does need someone, and I think there's a self-sacrificing element of friendship that is kind of required, because we all have our own traumas, and it's not just to say like, oh, Sharon doesn't ask for help, so it's to know that that's something that she struggles with, and see what you can do to kind of lean in as she works to come forward, and I'm glad that I had friends also who are happy to make that sacrifice and push and prod, and so that they can give me practice and affirmation that my needs matter too, because we all learn that our needs do matter. So the more people show us that our needs do matter, the more we are like, we learn that as a truth. And then it's easier to open up a bit.
Can I add something to that? And I guess also applaud you, because I see this dynamic in friendships where when someone is going through a hard time, we have that default line for, I'm here for you. Let me know if you need anything.
No.
And it's like, now you've put the emotional labor on me to sit and think,
how can you
what
be
do
there?
I need in this season? And then reach out and be like, this is what I need. And like, if it's like now someone like you who's battling with asking for help, and it won't even get that far. So I like that you have taken it upon yourself to do the guessing and to try different things and to show up until something sticks, or something is, this was the thing she needed, and now I have given it to her. I think that's very beautiful, because we won't always be in seasons where we are comfortable to actually say, I feel like I don't know the right terminology for this. It's not like being the bigger person, but like sometimes you have to play that role, that you have to take it upon yourself to be like, this is as far as I know about my friend. How can I show up for them in this season? Like, I can't just be like, the blanket statements of, I'm here for you, I'm thinking of you, let me know. Sometimes that just doesn't cut it. Sometimes someone even doesn't know what they need. So they won't even be able to pinpoint, oh, this is the thing, 1, 2, 3, and then they share it with you. I remember like when I was going through my healing and I was not yet able to drive, one of my friends called me. She was like, hey, have you been going to church? And I'm like, oh no, because I can't move, yada yada. She was like, okay, I'll be coming for you on Sundays. I'll pick you up. We'll be going to church and I'll be dropping you home. That's not even something I had thought I needed. But like church for me is a big deal. So the fact that she identified, she didn't say,
like a gap,
let me know what. It was like, I've seen a gap. Let me feel it. Let me not wait for this person to reach out. I love that. Like that's such a beautiful part of friendship, that someone just gets you and they're able to step in and fill in like those those missing beats.
I would say there's also an ego death because you might get it wrong. The difficulty when someone isn't able to always articulate what they need is that you might not get it right. So now it's the swallowing your pride and like your feelings are hurt and whatever, and then being like, she's still trying to figure it out. It's that love, it's that compassion to me that is the difference between somebody I care about and I love so much and somebody who I don't know. It's like someone who's going to give me that room and that grace as I try to navigate. So it's not like, oh, okay, well, I called her and she didn't pick up. That's it. That's it. It's like you can call every hour until she picks up and then message. Actually, there was a time I actually had called her relentlessly. She was just like, I'm okay, Lydia. I'm fine.
And you're like, I'm not
it's that kind of, it's my time to carry. And when your time comes, when my time comes, you carry me. I think we need that. It's not always this 50-50. No.
And I do think, especially if you have a rejection bias, where you are sensitive to rejection, you will always see rejection in everything. And I really want people to not take it personally. When you offer help and it's not received in the way you want it to be received, it really has nothing to do with you. It's really not personal. The person just doesn't know what they need, or maybe that's not the way they want to be helped. Maybe they want it in another way, but they don't even know how to articulate it. And I like that you guys are saying use the information you already have about the person. So like there was a time I was going through something and I really like I just, my tendency is just to isolate, you know? All my friends were texting me, checking in, and me, I'll just say, I'm okay. I just say I'm okay. And or I'll say, oh, today I struggled a bit, but I'm okay. Oh, today I had a hard day, but I'm okay. And I was avoiding everyone. I wasn't seeing anyone. I wasn't, you know what I mean? And Lydia literally just showed up to my house, and she showed up with pastries and matcha because she knows that's what I like. I like pastries. I like matcha. And did the pastries and matcha change my problem? No. But it did do something for my soul. And my soul needed a bit of cheering up. It just needed a bit of like...
a break from them.
Yeah, like to just a reminder of I love you and I see you. And even though you're going through this thing, I just want you to know that I'm in your corner. You know, so it's just like really...
tiny things.
The small things. And it's really like... just put in effort. And people like really admire friendships, but like, are you willing to put in the effort
and swallow that
and swallow the rejection, swallow your ego, swallow all of that and put in the work.
I'll also say that it's good to be intentional about who the person is. So for example, I'll actually give a really good example. Joe Murugi recently lost her uncle, and I know how hard she is to reach when she's going through something, because we've been through enough things that I know. But this time around, I was just like, I'm going to try and see, because sometimes the you trying to dig in is what is not what they want, you know? So this time around, and I hope that she will support that I've done a really good job, I didn't give her what I needed. I gave her what she needed. Joe isn't someone who wants to be called all the time. So I minimized the amount of times I called her. I'll just text her. I'll just check in and I'll physically show up. The physically showing up, she doesn't know that she needs that, but I know she does. So that one, there's like, I've got to go over what she thinks she needs. But there's some other things which I was just like, she doesn't want to be bombarded, because for her, like there's a bit of a struggle of like, needing, especially outside of like her sisters and her husband. So it's like I wanted to meet her in a way that didn't make her feel like she was being challenged to accept that care in a way that she wasn't ready to. Because there's also that, because if I am too, or like I'm here, you have to keep getting stirred with the icky feelings that are coming up for you. So I think I tried my best this time around to kind of walk around in the way of like, okay, what does she need? What would she like in this moment versus what I think everyone needs when it's that time? Because maybe someone is not there, you know? But what? Gymnastics. Though it's not easy. Gymnastics. When you see me just losing weight, guys, it's a difficult thing to get people right. Yeah. And you just have to know that it's not easy to keep experimenting until, you get it right.
One thing will
stick. Yeah. I would say, if Joe watches this, I'm telling you, I feel like I got it right this time.
We'll cut for her this part.
Exactly. Like, I feel like I was able to give enough of like, this is what she needs, even though she doesn't want, and this is what she needs because I know how she is. Yeah.
Great. We'll cut for Joe this part to send to her so
definitely, she can say yes or no.
Yeah. So let's talk about the yucky parts of friendship.
That wasn't it?
No, that was cute.
That was cute.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The yucky parts are conflict and potentially breakups.
Right.
Have any of you navigated friendship breakups or conflict generally? How do you navigate conflict in a healthy way in friendships? Yeah. Because I feel like we're okay to fight with our men, our boyfriends, our husbands. But when it comes to friends, you're like, I'm not doing this. Cut you off by... Yeah.
So I'm actually very pro conflict. Yeah. I'm very good with confrontation. And that's just because I had to learn. So in university, when I was part of ISEC and leading an organization, it's like your person in charge of, operations cannot be doing a bad job and you're just like, I'm just going to keep quiet and, give them more time. So it was a skill I had to pick up, like have those tough conversations with people. So then I just transferred that skill from a work professional type of environment into my friendships. So my personal rule is if someone does something that hurts me, I have two options. I can speak about it immediately or I can never speak about it. But if I never speak about it, I also cannot let that thing influence the way I see them later on.
Which is so hard.
Not really. Like I've just learned to, it's like, so I do this thing where I ask myself, can I live with this thing? Like if I never speak about it, is it okay for me to walk over? Right. And if it's fine and the situation doesn't, like the opportunity doesn't present itself, then I'll be good. Yeah. But if I know to the deepest of my cause that this is something I need to address, then I need to put on my big girl pants and I need to address it because then I know it's going to be the thing that stirs up resentment from my end. And as I approach that conversation, I keep reminding myself, because this is my friend and I have chosen them, and because of all the other times in the past they have come through for me, I have to go into this conversation thinking the best. Like it can't be they were malicious or like, why did this person do this? Don't they know that I know? So it's just like people are flawed, like people are human. So I already begin to give grace in that conversation. So for me, it's like I go into like with curiosity, like, hey, like you did this, like this was the effect on my end. Did you think maybe that could be like a possibility, or like were you going? So it's you're not going in with you hurt me, you're a bad person. Exactly. I have come to tell you, I've come to cancel you. I also think that by addressing conflict in friendships, it's also a way of love because you're telling someone, hey, I care about this friendship a lot. Yeah. I don't want it to end or like break up in a bad way. So can we fix this? Because I really value you in my life. So I don't want that to change, but there's this thing that is restricting me from moving on. So that's how I look at it. It's like I keep doing those mental choices of, is this a really big thing? Do I need to address it? Okay, if I address it, can I address it with grace? And to be honest, there are others that I haven't addressed. And because they kept happening, then I did the thing for tiers. I was just like, okay, now this person will just move them to a bottom tier and it's okay. Yeah. And I don't have to tell that person I have moved you from tier 1 to, no, it's fine. It's just like the ebbs and flows of life. But I think it's really important to have conflict in friendships because we are all flawed. We're all going to mess up. And I also appreciate when people call me out because sometimes I was just going through life. I never even realized the thing I did. But like when you tell me it gives me pause. I can be able to apologize. I can be able to mend, and I can also now take that and put it in like my bank of things I know about you. So now in future, I'm not going to repeat the very thing because now I know. But if you don't tell me, there's the possibility that I'll keep doing the same thing, and I have no idea that it's something that asks you.
Like you did to your friend who you demoted.
Well, that one was different because there was also no effort from their end. So it's like they're also not reaching out to have a friendship.
Right.
So it's just
It's already gone.
Yeah, it's like the thing you were saying about effort. Like effort has to be both ways. So like if there's no effort, it's like, do I really need to have a conversation with like
what are we doing?
Yeah. What are we fighting for? There wasn't anything to fight for.
Yeah.
So that's what I'd say about conflict. Very, very important in friendship.
Agreed. Very much. There are so many ways that we are like. I'm literally looking. I'm like, okay, sister, okay, twin. In like so many the ways you articulate and the way you see things. I would actually say that for me, the quality of our relationship is measured by how well and how easily we can have hard conversations. And if we can't have a hard conversation, for me, this is just vibes. It's it needs to be that. Murugi says that I'm a bit more like conflict happy. I'm not conflict happy or like confrontation happy, but it's an opportunity for me to kind of almost like, it's like not exactly put the friendship to the test, but it's like, this is a hard thing that we've got to get through. And by the way, we create bonds when we deal with things together and we're able to fix things. And, so that creates this warmth. And also hard conversations are vulnerable. They are vulnerable as hell. One, you have to admit that you've been hurt. So your feelings are on the table. Then two, you've got to risk this person and how they're going to feel when they're upset and all of that. So it's a very vulnerable thing. So when you're able to have it and be able to connect and build after, it always enriches a conversation. I would say that for me, I always start, if it's something I'm going to say, I always say, I love you so much. And I know there's nothing in this world that you would ever do to intentionally hurt me. We start there. So anything that comes by, the person isn't trying to defend their intention. The intention is out. We're talking about my impact. And a lot of times people argue this impact, intention, impact, this is how I felt, but this is not what I meant. That's not the conversation. So address the intention first so that person usually, if they're like a decent human being, their guard is down because they don't have to explain who they are. We are discussing an action and an event. So then despite that, when you did this hurt me. And it hurt me because of A, B, C, and D. And I just wanted you to know that I wouldn't want it to happen again. That's it. Then if that person is your friend, the reaction is, I'm so sorry that I hurt you. Not that I meant to hurt you, but I'm sorry that I hurt you. And usually it's quick. I don't even think I've had like a long standing. It's usually like a conversation or two. And it's done because you know my intention, I know yours, but something has happened. And I think conflict happens because people are being themselves. Yeah, it's like if I'm being fully myself without thinking and I'm so comfortable around you, something's going to happen that you're not going to be happy about. So it's I think it's part of it, but dealing with it is not easy for sure. I know it's difficult and maybe you've been burnt before, but it's 100% worth it. For breakups, I think for me, it's always felt like evolution. There's no friendship that has parted that I was just devastated over. It always felt like it was time. So most of the time for me, it's a letting go. It's more of an accepting that this is not the friendship for like to continue on, and I let it go. And so I don't think I've ever had those, we broke up, my heart was shattered, or no. But, and also I'm not above begging. If I want someone to stay, I'll beg.
Pick me.
Yeah, choose me. I'm not above begging. So it's never been like, oh wow, the friendship is going great. Then this thing happens and then it's over. I've never had that, and I pray I never had that because I've seen it's pretty bad.
I have had that. I have had a very painful breakup with a friend. But we're back to being friends now, so I guess it's okay. But
happy ending.
We got I guess like a restoration of some sort, and I empathize with anyone who goes through that, especially if you are really close with this friend and it wasn't a natural evolution, like you were saying, where time happened, distance happened, or a misalignment happened of some sort, where there was actually an incident or incidences that culminated into a breakup. I really empathize with that because it's very difficult. For us, what actually helped is just time. The time we took apart really helped. And I was done with the friendship. I was like, I'm never going back. We're never letting her back in, blah, blah, like all of these things. And then eventually with time, I came to just forgive. But I didn't want to forgive. Let me just say that. It was by the help of God that I was able to forgive her. And the forgiveness was more for me and not for her. It was more for me because I didn't want to hold on to the grudge anymore. And there was actually a season I went through, was it early last year, where God would just place names of people in my mind who I had grudges with. And I even forgot some of them. And he was imploring me to forgive each of them. Literally every day, almost every other day, I would wake up with a brand new name in my mind. And I'm like, Lord Jesus, give me a break. This forgiving is so much work, And forgiving for me, how I really know I've even forgiven someone is when I pray for them. And when I pray for them, good things, that person that has hurt me the way I thought I could never be hurt, I pray good things for them. God bless them. Be with them, enrich them, multiply them, give them other friends. Let those friends do this for them. Speaking blessings into this person, that's how I know I've released you.
Yeah.
But if I go into prayer, I'm trying to pray for you and nothing is coming out. I know, God, the grudge is still there.
Give me some more time.
Give me some more time, Lord. Give me some more time. I'm still hurt. But above all, there was a lot of accountability on her part. She took accountability. She apologized. Multiple times she begged. like you were saying, she did, and I was just the one who was just like, no, leave me alone, whatever. And I needed time. And eventually with time, I let her back in. She apologized. She took accountability. And it was multiple sessions of her taking accountability. It wasn't even a one-time thing. It was a multiple, I really don't want to hurt you again. What can I do to make sure I don't? And even if I do, how can we navigate that in a healthier way this time round so that it doesn't blow over? It was a consistent conversation. It wasn't a one-time thing, which I really appreciated with her. And somehow we've been able to pick up from where we left off. It's like nothing. You can't even tell that there was time there was time in between, which I think is just the restoring power of God, and that's how he works. But I think a version we don't really talk about is when you're the perpetrator, because usually we think about conflict when ndo umekosewa. We don't think about conflict when we are the bad guy, when we are the one that has hurt the friend. And I think for me, what I've really learned to do is repent quickly, ask for forgiveness quickly. There's something I did with Lydia. I did something bad.
When you called me?
And immediately I did the
Panicked.
thing.
God.
In my mind, I was like, what did I just do? What did I just say? Immediately I entered the Uber. I called Lydia. I was like, Lydia, listen, I messed up. I've done this, and this. Please forgive me. Yeah. And if you're angry, I understand why you would be angry. Yeah. So I don't I don't allow it to fester and become a mountain when it's perhaps just a teacup. Yeah. So I like to address it while it's still small, when it's a seed. Yeah. And so that it doesn't blow up and become a thing. Yeah.
I really want to commend you about that forgiveness. Yeah. I think it even made me feel safer with you, because I'm like, oh, so there's room for imperfection. It affirmed that someone can be like, this was a done deal. And for you to still open your heart and forgive is such an admirable quality. I love that you did that, and I've loved the way that you've navigated. And she's lovely.
Yeah. She
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
Honestly, by the grace of God, because me,
No.
if it was up to me, I did not want to
But
forgive.
God gives everyone grace, but you've got to meet it
That's
there
true.
and lean in
Yeah.
and like hold on to the grace
Yeah.
and like kind of move forward.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you've done
Thank
it.
you.
I've been confronted, not once, not twice, and my reaction is just that I am it doesn't even, I'm not even discussing. We can discuss the why or the how, but the first initial is I love you. I am so sorry that I've hurt you. Then we can discuss the context so that we get how not to do it. But yeah, for me, being confronted, it does feel bad, but I'm always ready and willing to apologize and figure it out.
Yeah.
Have you been the bad guy?
For sure. Who hasn't? I think for me, so let me give like a very just short thing. When I think about my transition to being like a real Christian, quote unquote, because like you've been raised Christian, but like you've had your ebbs and flows. The one thing I usually say, like the earliest encounters with Jesus and what he changed was my know-it-allness. If there was a person who knew it all, it was me. I believed I was always right.
Hi, twin.
Like you're trying to argue with me. Okay, let's go. I know, and I will fight for it till everything is settled on my side. So for me now, how I approach relationships is. So that times I've been rightly called out, and I'll do the same thing as you. For me, it's just like I cannot even begin to start saying, but this is what. No, it's just like I'm sorry that you feel that way. Like I care about this person so much. So the fact that I'm the one who hurt them, that's like a big thing for me because I care about them. Like their well-being is a thing that matters. But there are also times I've been called out, and in my head I still feel, but I was right, And sometimes it could be like an argument, but now this is what I do. For me, it's like, is the value of the relationship greater than my need to be right? No. So sometimes, what I mean is this, like when you're resolving conflict, you don't always have to see eye to eye. You don't always have to understand how something hurts someone.
Yeah.
Or like the ethos there doesn't have to be on the same plane. But the fact that I hurt you, that's the most important thing in that conversation. So for me, I want to resolve. I don't want to like just be so caught up on the details of like the intellectualness behind it and like who was right, who was wrong, like, but why does that hurt you? I don't get, like, no, like those things don't matter.
Yeah.
So I feel like sometimes in relationships, you also just have to let go of like that thing for like I'm justified in my actions or like I was right. Sometimes you could, like the thing you're saying about intention, sometimes you could think you're holding someone accountable, but maybe they're just not ready for change. So you start going to be like in that conversation, but I had your best intention at heart. No, it's like you just let it go.
Yeah.
So I think like for me, that's something I've learned. Like the thing you're saying, like I just quickly ask for forgiveness. It's like me, like I know the works of the enemy. If we were to sleep on this, it'll become another thing tomorrow.
Exactly.
So I just quickly be like, I really value this person. That's the most important thing for me right now. So I am going to meet them at their point of need.
Yeah.
I need to apologize. Let me apologize. Sometimes I also feel like there was hurt on their end as well, but I also let go of that need to get an apology as well. Sometimes it's like the way you're saying self-sacrifice. Sometimes that's also how conflict looks like, is that you don't get the apology and it's okay. You love this person beyond those tiny bits of flaws because you're looking at them from the grand scheme of, I know this person, I know their intentions, I know their value. So they may have slipped up right now, but it's okay. Like I'm not going to keep keeping score just for the sake of we need to be on the same playing field all the time. So it's just like what both of you guys have said.
I would say one thing with that is that I realized that people notice that in my character, that whatever you table, the first instinct is to apologize, and then we discuss the context so that I can understand like more of it, so that we can actually clear things up. And even sometimes the clearing up, the other person sees a perspective that they hadn't seen, you know? But there was once I was confronted and I pushed back because that's my natural reaction. But this wasn't like a deed. This was about like a perception of what you were seeing, very neutral. Like, it's like, let's say we're talking or like this, and maybe Sharon comes to me and she said that there's a time that I turned like this and to like, it was just giving, wait, what? It's like there's what is physically happening that objectively is neutral. And then there's what you're receiving. Yes. And I had to tell her, I need you to take a minute and actually figure out what was happening with you, because you want me to apologize about a wink or a shift or a shoulder or like things that were, I can't even know how I can't do that again. That's how I know it's about how you're perceiving this, because I can't know next time because it wasn't actions about me.
Yeah.
And that's the only time I've ever done that. But I realized that it's also sometimes you've got to be like, okay, let's sit before we start being like a dumping ground for everyone's projections about what they are picking up in, like, you know what I mean? But that's rare though. It's rare that it's like, no, this is you. It's very, very rare. Most of the time, I think it's usually like, we'll discuss the details later. Yeah. I'm just sorry that I hurt you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it is like people projecting. Maybe you are doing something, but then their own internal traumas and stuff, they received it in a different way. And you're like, that's not what that was. Like, that was just a statement I made. It had nothing to do with this, and that.
And
like,
I think it's good to look at that in ourselves too.
Yeah. So it's not always like, sometimes pushback is important. Yeah. I think for me, as we wrap up, how long are we?
It's giving 3. It's giving 3 hours.
1 hour 30. Man, this is a very long episode, guys. We might have to chop it into 2 parts.
Well, people love a friendship episode. Oh my God. They always.
Can we chop it into 2 parts? Yeah, I have one more question. So it's fine.
15 minutes.
Another 15.
I think I might be the common denominator of this.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
To wrap up.
That's too short.
For one more question, you're both talking for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do 5 words. Go on.
Yeah. What was I saying? I was saying there's this thing that I had on Instagram, this analogy that I really love, where this girl was saying how, especially as women, we need to be careful to not knit sweaters. So something happens and you go and you make up 1,000 different stories about that one thing. So you knit a sweater. So while it's still a thread, go to your friend with curiosity about it. Yeah. Don't knit it and let it become a sweater where she did this because she meant this, and that because of this, because of this, because of that, and that because of that. Now we can't be friends anymore. Don't let it become a sweater. Go while it's still a thread and be like, okay, this happened. And I would also urge people to not assume malicious intent of a friend, especially if you feel like they're a genuine friend.
Yeah.
Don't assume malicious intent, because assuming malicious intent is what makes us knit those sweaters.
Yeah.
And they're big sweaters when it's just, it's really a thread. So go to them while it's still a thread and go to it with them with curiosity and not with malicious intent already decided. Yeah. You are a bad person, this thing was malicious and this was whatever, as opposed to, okay, you did this thing and it hurt me and it made me feel like this and this and this, and I'm just trying to understand why you did the thing, as opposed to, now it's a big sweater and you're a bad person and you're done out of my life.
The story blinds you.
Exactly. So I've been trying to ask myself, when I catch myself in the loop of, especially as an overthinker, am I knitting a sweater out of this?
Yeah.
And can I deconstruct this sweater and return it to being a thread so that I can go to my friend with this thing before it becomes a big thing?
Yeah.
My last question, because this is a long episode, but my last question is, what does love in friendship mean to you personally? That's all.
We say we're saying 4 words, girl, you know.
Okay.
Let's hold it down.
Let me count them and start doing the cutting. I'd say being very willing to inconvenience yourself for the sake of the other person, and not because it's like an obligation, but just because you love them, like their well-being matters. And so if I need to spend money, I will spend money. If I need to, I don't know, like pick up my phone and call you when I'd rather be sleeping, then I'm going to do that. If I need to wake up very early in the morning to drive you to the airport, I will do that. I think like friendship will not always fit in perfect boxes. It will not always be convenient to show up for someone. You won't always love hanging out with your friends.
Yeah.
Like I've realized in my adulthood, like past 10, when I'm outside, I'm just like, what am I doing? But like sometimes it's needed for me to hang out with my friends, to check up on them, because that's the time that's available for everyone. So I have learned to carry those inconveniences with a joy of giving. Yeah. It's like, it hurts me in a way, but I'm also deriving value. Like I want to see you smile and I love you and I care about you. So I'm going to show up even if it's not the most ideal circumstances.
Yeah.
So I'd say that, like being just willing and ready to inconvenience yourself.
100%. I think that's a baseline for sure. I think maybe what I would say that friendship it's the home that we create for ourselves. So we all have family and we have that home, but then friendship is the one that which we create ourselves. Yeah. So me as a friend, I want to ask myself how I am home to my friends, how I am as flexible, as malleable, as open, as inviting, as warm, as supportive as I can, because they are choosing me as their home. So when I think about the characteristics, I think of like, you know, what home do you want to run to and just and try my best to be that character for each one, because they're all building different houses out of me. But you know, like to create that for them, and because you know them, you become that. So that's what I would say, because I also feel like that's what my friends are there, though that's what they are to me. Yeah.
For me, as we close, I think one of the major lessons I've learned as we've been shooting this season is that love is responsibility. Mm-hmm. Love is a responsibility. I've not always looked at love as, that's Soila who told us that. I've never looked at love as, this is a responsibility that I have been given and that I hold. And now I'm starting to see that, like you're saying, love is also inconveniencing. It's a responsibility. It's a cultivating homes. It's all of these different things. Especially the inconveniencing, especially as adults. I think maybe that's why we struggle with adult friendships, because people don't want to be inconvenienced. You know, there's a day I saw 4 different friends in one day because they all needed a different thing. They were all going through a different thing, and I had to show up for each of them. And that was a day gone that I didn't really do much for myself, because everyone was going through something, or everyone needed support in a different way. And these were all like, you know, things that, you know, I had promised that I will show up for. You know, I had said I'll be there that day, you know. So I be there on that day, and then I try to recoup the day with now the next day. So for me, I'm learning that love is a responsibility, and I need to be responsible over it. I need to steward. I need to be a good steward over the gift of love, because it also feels like a gift to be able to experience love in friendships, in community, in marriage, in dating, with my parents, with all of these, in myself as well. You know, so I think we shall end the episode there. We have really yapped. It went by really quick. It didn't feel like
an hour 30.
Maybe for other people it did.
It felt like that, but also in like the best way. You know, it's like so enriching.
Yeah. Thank you so much, guys, for watching. I do not know if we will have an episode 10. So if this is goodbye. But if this is not goodbye, then it's not goodbye. But thank you so much for watching. You'll see us or hear us in our next episode. Bye.
Bye.